up, guys? Coach Bruce, Third Down Thursdays, obviously with MJ, but we have a special guest with us, Craig Braggs from CHGO Bears.
Yeah.
Got it. I knew I would get it. I knew I would get it. So, sir, how are you, and how's everything going lately with you guys?
Oh, it's great. I started with CHGO last year before the Bears season started, and my personal story is I'm a bricklayer, right? So, not this traditional media guy. A lot of those guys you see over there, former NFL player Corey Wooten played for the Bears, and Mark Harmon from WGN, and Adam Hogue, who's one of the top Bears beat reporters for the last 2 decades. And then you got the meatball bricklayer. I'm bringing the Schwersky to the CHGO. I guess is best describe my role. But
little sausage action.
So like this experience this week, it's been my first time ever down at the combine. And interviewing, the GM and the head coach of the Bears and other teams and all these players has been just a really thrilling experience for me. And just trying to get my feet wet and see how I can do. I'm getting more comfortable each day. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's definitely an adjustment. And I'll give you a little shout out. Even before Bruce said you were coming on, I had never heard of you or seen your work because I'm not a Bears fan. I'll be honest, I didn't. However, I saw your stuff the first couple of days at the combine popping up all over my Twitter timeline, all the pictures and videos and everything you're doing. So, for somebody who's here for the first time, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is my wheelhouse because how I started it was 5 years ago. I just started going to training camp and videoing practice, and just doing little clips and putting them on there and hyping up players and things like that. And gain circulation. It's kind of the same game here. It
really is.
You're just trying to get a video of a clip, at least that's my role. I mean, we're writing articles and doing all this other stuff too for good content. But for me personally, I'm just trying to get that good quote, good clip, put it on Twitter, the other big part of how I got to this point was by networking, and meeting people. And that's the other big part of this game that you don't really see during the combine week because everybody's obviously watching the players, which is the focus. But the behind the scenes with the media when it comes to that it's a lot of networking.
It's a lot of
talking
how
to people,
right?
And you're going out late at night and running into different people you probably never run into, and you're just trying to rub elbows, and you just never know where you'll strike up a friendship or a relationship with somebody, and before you know it, that could turn into something. So that's been the other half of it, is just trying to network, bring people on the show. We had Mike Tannenbaum on earlier, busting his ass about his Justin Fields take. So, and he was great, but that's just, closed mouths don't eat. You got to walk up to people and see if they'll come on. Most of the time, everybody's normal people, right? I don't think any of this is overly special. It's just sports, right?
Right. It's just having a conversation, being able to shoot the shit with somebody and be like, hey, how you doing? That's the biggest thing. Actually, we've had the pleasure of having Mike on before. And that was an entertaining conversation, to say the least. He's a good dude. Yeah,
he's a good dude. He's animated and opinionated, and
that's the key word
he fires Bears fans up, and that's fine. Everybody's got their right to their opinion, even if it's a wrong one. I know I have plenty.
Same. But so I'm going to dive right in, my guy. And obviously the Chicago Bears are the first pick in the NFL draft this year. I know my thoughts, and I'll give them to you, but I'm curious to know what you think that the Chicago Bears should do with the first overall pick.
They got to trade it.
Agree.
Got to trade it. I mean, Will Anderson, certainly an intriguing prospect, could be, you might bite, you might eat your words in a few years, depending on how productive he is. But the Bears aren't in a position to push all their chips in on one guy. He could be great and then get hurt week one. I hate saying that, but that's just the business of the NFL.
Right.
So now if you take him, you're pushing all your chips on this guy, A, to be great, and B, to be healthy. And for the Bears, they have so many holes that it would be irresponsible of them to not trade back and get additional assets for this year's draft and drafts of the future. If they can get some future first round picks from a team like the Carolina Panthers, I was in on the press conference with Scott Fitterer, the GM of the Panthers. I think they're a prime target to move up to one. That is who I'm predicting will move up. But it's a team like that where you can get next year's first or even the next 2 years first from them. Now the Bears have 2 first-round picks the next 2 years. Not to mention that, but the Bears also traded their early second-round pick this year for Chase Claypool. So right now they have the number one pick, and then they don't pick. Right. So they're waiting a while. So you also got to trade up into that early part of the second round because you need offensive line help, you need defensive line help, you need a linebacker, might need a corner, you need another wide receiver. They just have so many holes. So it would be irresponsible for Ryan Poles to not trade back, and I know that's what he's trying to do.
So I'm gonna jump on that only because I'm curious because I want to know your thoughts on, or my opinion where they're going to go. I want them to trade down with the Texans. I want to go get the number 2 pick.
Yep.
And then take it and hopefully get the 12th pick from them as well. I know it's asking a lot, but that's basically like fleecing the Texans, and I get that. But that way you could trade down from that number 2 pick with the Colts, hopefully, so that way they can get their future quarterback. And I know this is totally pipe dreaming, but this isn't the ideal scenario in my mind. That way you can get hopefully Will Anderson at the 4th pick, and then get yourself a wide receiver or like Smith. I can't remember his first name.
Jackson Smith.
Yeah. So you get Justin Fields' guy.
Right.
Exactly. You get 100%. Justin Fields' guy number 12. And I know that might be a little high for him because I've seen other projections. So. Some projections have had him at the low one.
If you like him, go get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Get him then. And then hopefully if you trade, I don't know, if you can try to get something. And again, you're waiting a long time for the 54th pick in the second round.
Sure.
But you're hitting 2 first picks that are potential blue chip type caliber players right away, filling 2 needs that you have in that offense.
That was additionally my dream scenario. Move back from 1 to 2, then 2 to 4. Get as many assets from those 2 trades as you possibly can. Then you're still in the Will Anderson, Jalen Carter sweepstakes.
Well,
that was how it was framed.
Right.
This was a month ago, right?
Right?
Lots changed in the last 2 days. But that's where now with this unfortunate news with Jalen Carter and the tragedy of someone dying in a car, they're racing, and again, he's a young guy, make mistakes, and now he's got to live with something that is not going to be easy to live with the rest of his life. But just from a football standpoint, when you were looking at it for the Bears, if they were to had done your dream scenario, trade back twice and still be at 4, you could have got either or. Now, with it not the uncertainty of where Jalen's going to go if he falls back, Will Anderson isn't going to fall to 4. You trade back 1, you trade back to 2. That might be the first 2 quarterbacks off the board. Agreed. But Arizona at 3 are likely to take Will Anderson.
Exactly.
Who else would they take up there? So now you're sitting at 4, and you may not have any of the guys you're looking for. So I think that changes things severely for them. Just on the Texans scope of it, though, it always made the most sense to me to at least just start there and trade from 1 to 2. You lose no risk, and all you do is gain draft assets. And I've had people tell me it's unrealistic to expect 2 and 12 to move up 1 spot. But at the same time, when you consider the Colts and the Panthers and the Raiders and the Falcons,
multitude of teams,
there's just so many teams.
There likely will be a bidding war.
A bidding war, 100%. And if it's the Colts that start to go in and start pushing, you got to be able to pin the Colts and Texans up against each other and say, look, you're in the same division. So if you don't move ahead of these guys, this guy's going to be in your division giving you nightmares.
He's going to go get Bryce Young.
So if the Colts come and say, we're going to give you next year's first-round pick, well, then all Ryan Poles simply has to do is go to the Texans and go, we've been offered a first-round pick, if a future first-round pick.
Right.
The only way you're going to get this pick from us is if you can match that.
Hell yeah.
Whether that be next year's first-round pick, but more importantly, if they want to give this year's 12.
Right.
And so now, I think you're in like Flint for a potential like that. So I think that is on the table, even though it may seem unrealistic. You just never know how desperate these teams are going to get. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
I'm interested, and I know my role. I will play devil's advocate here. Okay. So I was talking to Bruce about this the other day. I'm assuming that obviously you're probably in the camp of not trading Justin Fields, which I totally understand.
Yep.
I would just like to present a hypothetical.
Oh, here we go.
And see what you hear. Because I didn't change your mind, but I at least
you gave me.
I kind of stalwarted you a little bit. Yeah. So the idea is, if Bryce Young weighs in well, which could be, falsified.
We'll say he weighs in at 200 pounds.
Yeah, but let's say he's able to gain the weight, right? That's a sign to a lot of scouts that he could actually hold up. And a lot of people have said that if he weighs in at that, he is the clear number 1 guy. So in a scenario, if you could get Bryce Young, trade Justin Fields, and everybody says that Justin Fields will be the number 1 pick in this draft, right?
Sure.
The quantity, the return you could get for the number 1 pick right now is at least 2 firsts. So if you're telling me you couldn't get at least that for Justin Fields, my idea is you could get even more draft capital, trade down. You could possibly still get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, who I think is still the best passer in the draft. You could get one of those guys, reset your clock on paying your quarterback, keep a quarterback on a rookie deal, get even more assets dually because you trade down from one and you trade Justin Fields. Then Ryan Poles has the world at his fingertips to work with in draft capital, cap space, because he doesn't have to pay his quarterback for 4 years. That has to, at least in my mind, be something that they consider. Unless you think
I have to put up with
unless Ryan Poles thinks that Justin Fields is absolutely going to be a top 5 quarterback, I think you have to consider it.
Well, if you're Ryan Poles, you have to consider all scenarios, or you're not doing your job right.
Right.
So he has considered this, whether Bears fans like it or not. And at the end of the day, to your point, yeah, it resets the clock. But that's why, to me, the trade value for the other teams that want Justin, he's going to be coming up on his 3rd year, right? And then next year, fourth is when you pay.
Yeah.
You can't pay this year, but next year you can. Or you're starting a franchise tag once you get to the 5th year and 6th year or whatever.
Right.
So a team, you say, okay, it may be more valuable because in this draft he'd be drafted first. Well, he's not. He's a 3rd-year player. So that clock is shorter. Now, look at the return that the Browns gave for Deshaun Watson. I mean, and Deshaun's got a lot of baggage attached. I understand he's a talented quarterback and has proven more at this level than Justin has. But at the end of the day, all it takes is one team. I'm sure the Atlanta Falcons regret taking the tight end Kyle Pitts instead of the hometown kid Justin Fields. So, while I don't think that the price for Justin would be as valuable as the price for the number 1 pick because of that rookie clock that all teams want, and Bryce Young is certainly a talented quarterback too, I just think, I think there is a chance, that one team is that obsessed with him that would just give up the farm because what you have in Justin Fields.
Right.
Bryce is still an uncertainty, even at weight aside. He's still got to prove it at the NFL level, even though he shows a lot of poise and is a playmaker and does a lot of things, and I'm sure he's going to be great. He's still got to show that. Justin has shown at this level that he's stronger than the toughest defensive ends, like Hassan Reddick, just throwing him off him, and he outruns every secondary player. I mean, that's insane to have the strength of Cam Newton and the speed of Michael Vick, and I don't think that's hyperbole. I think that's exactly who Justin Fields is right now. Now, can he do that forever? No. But he can do that for the next couple of years.
I don't want him to do that, though, at the end of the day.
Of course.
Too, But
it's fun to watch right now.
It is.
And you look at the way Cam Newton got to the Super Bowl, when they lost to Denver.
Was that 28? No,
2015.
And every time the play broke down and he didn't have to, he just took off and they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And his arm was inconsistent, and I think Justin Fields has a potential to have a better arm. I mean, when you talk about running quarterbacks that came out of college, like Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick, they had a highlight reel in college of running all over the place.
Agreed.
Justin Fields didn't do that in college.
Yeah, that's true.
He is a pocket passer who did what he had to do last year, and now this narrative is being
running for his life.
Justin, because he was doing what he had to do for the team.
Yeah.
And instead of getting credit for being that kind of a team player, you denigrate him for it, and I just thought that was so unfair. He didn't have to do that. They got to do right by him the same way Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman did right by Jalen. Get him another number 1, add to Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool, and build that offensive line, get him the same help, and watch him take the exact same leap Jalen Hurts had. Jalen Hurts is just throwing it up into double coverage for freaking A.J. Brown. I mean, in the Super Bowl, they're like, what an amazing throw. That's a double coverage. He's just saying, go and get it. You think Justin Fields can't do that? Come on now.
Right.
Screw it. A.J. Brown's out there somewhere.
And you want to talk about, and then all the historic numbers, he put up Jalen Hurts as a running quarterback in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is twice as big and twice as fast.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy we're talking about. So I just think
I don't know if he can squat 600 though.
I don't think he needs to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I wouldn't put anything past. He's a monster.
Yeah, he is.
And he's chiseled. Like you see him, he is, dude. I mean, he's
yoked.
He is yoked, dude. So I mean, that's just somebody that puts a lot into his craft. So, it's just too big of a risk.
Agreed.
And if you get those future first round picks, now you've added up some equity where you have Justin in a prove-it year, and if it doesn't work out, now Ryan Poles can take that package and maybe go get one of these top quarterbacks next year if it's a worse break class in case of emergency kind of situation, which, we'll see.
I just thought of this off the top of my head. If you trade down, I'm trying to think about this. This would never happen. But Seattle is at what, 9? 8 or 9?
Panthers are at 9.
So I think Seattle's at. Seattle's at like 5.
Yeah.
Give me a draft order. I suck at remembering where people are picking. Anyway, they're somewhere in between 5 and 10. What do you think of DK Metcalf and Seattle's pick for number 1?
I want Justin Jefferson. I'll give up the number 1 pick for Justin Jefferson from Minnesota. DK, I mean, he signed last year.
They're at 5.
They're at 5? So 5 and DK Metcalf and like next year's second.
Yeah, because you'd have
for
to
number
have
1
extra equity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, I mean, I love DK Metcalf, but at this point, I'm going with I need the bucket of draft picks. They have so many holes. Justin Jefferson changed my mind.
That's
and
fair.
DK is great.
Yeah,
but Justin Jefferson.
That's a different type.
Is totally not.
That's your bar.
I asked some Viking fans, like, no way. I'm like, they need a quarterback.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, this is another situation that'll never happen.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, if we want to get crazy, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. I mean, that's where I'm at when it comes to that. So, but at the same time, no. They gotta get a bucket of draft picks and then let Ryan Poles cook. I thought he had a solid draft last year without having a first round pick.
He had a great draft.
Right, Brisker, Kyler Gordon excelled as the year went on, or at least developed. I'm not gonna say they were like standouts, but Brisker.
I think Gordon. Sorry to interrupt you,
you're good.
But I think Gordon, like at the beginning of the year, I agree with that. He wasn't as like
they were picking on him.
Yeah, agree, and he wasn't making the plays that you would thought that he would have made coming out of Washington. But then Brisker, though, I'm sorry, I thought right away he made an impact as soon as he jumped
one of the top safeties in last year's draft.
Him and Eddie Jackson, and like from everything that I've heard, Eddie Jackson's coming off well from his rehab, and everything's good with that from what I've heard. But man, dude, like their secondary is going to be really good.
Well,
when you get a pass rush with that secondary,
that's the point.
You're going to be in a great position.
That's the point. The secondary got better as the year went on, and with a pass rush that had a franchise record low from just the defensive line. 22, but only 10 from the defensive line. You know who led the team in sacks? Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah.
Four sacks from your safety, not a defensive lineman.
Right.
The Eagles had 4 guys on their defensive line that had 10 or more.
Right. So
that's what we're up against. But to consider that the secondary got better under those circumstances, typically when you don't get a pass rush, you're getting shredded.
You're screwed.
So that's how long they're holding on.
300 yards a night.
That's how long they're holding on to their routes. So you get this team a modicum of a pass rush. Now all of a sudden this secondary becomes dangerous. So I think there's big potential there. So that what's great about that is Justin Fields isn't the only bright spot. I think the secondary is slept on by a lot of people.
Agree. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. So we're gonna go down a hobbit hole right now.
Okay. Not a rabbit hole. A hobbit hole.
No,
this is scarier.
The hobbit hole.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers came out of his darkness retreat.
Okay.
Saying that he doesn't want to. He's not gonna take too much time. He's not gonna take too much time.
His dark room.
Keep going.
He's not gonna take too much time making his decision or anything like that. I'm kind of curious as another Chicago Bears fan and somebody that's in the know with media members and things like that. Like, what have you heard about his thoughts? Have you heard anything about his thoughts about anything? And in addition to that, to be honest with you, if you can, what's your actual opinion about him going on a darkness retreat?
Okay, yeah, I'll throw it all out there. Carmen Vitale is a part of our team. She works for Fox Sports, but she's part of our CHGO Bears team during the year, and she covers the whole NFC North, and she is adamant that he's going to continue to play, but probably not with the Packers, is what you're starting to feel as the rumblings. I'm not going to say she's said that necessarily, but that's the rumblings. I've been pushing with Carmi V that, I have this prediction that he's going to retire, which I'll get to. But to the original point about what I think or what I've heard, some of the rumblings I have heard around here is he's not even talking to the front office right now. And he had a golf outing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He went to Pebble Beach.
Yeah, Pebble Beach.
Oh, yeah.
No, but he already went back.
And I heard a story from a bird that, from a little birdie that the GM came to talk to him and he ghosted him. That's what I heard.
So hey guys, real quick, that's the hashtag Whispers at the Combine.
Whispers at the Combine. I like that. And so, you know how Rodgers is.
Yeah.
You know, he did this with them the last couple of years where he plays this hard to get game. But the read on the guy that I have with this Ayazuka, as I like to call it, and this darkness retreat and this spiritual awakening that he's had in the last couple of years. You know, I enjoy Bill Maher's podcast. It's called what is it called? Club Random.
Okay.
And he has great interviews where he just talks. And they talk about anything,
right?
Not politics. I know he's a political guy, but they just talk about anything. And he's a good conversationalist, so you get some conversations you just wouldn't hear in a different setting.
Right.
And he had Aaron Rodgers on. I was like, I don't want to listen to this, but it ended up being really interesting on a few different levels, just getting into Aaron Rodgers' mind. But the thing that stood out to me, and this is where I go to my prediction, is he's just done with the rat race.
Yeah,
he strikes me as a guy that just is done with it. Mm-hmm. He's playing out the string because I don't know if he just is hesitant to give up his career that he's worked so hard on. But I think he's so far past it. I think in a private room, I think he wishes he stayed doing the Jeopardy thing. And he didn't play football anymore. I mean, I think he was trying to get one more.
What is done with it?
You know, so he almost got one more. They got to the NFC, or one short of the NFC Championship.
They got to the NFC Championship game against Tampa 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Against Tampa and against the 49ers.
I thought the 49ers were divisional.
No, 2020 was the NFC Championship game against the Buccaneers. 2019 was the NFC Championship game against the 49ers.
Okay.
That's when the 49ers only threw the ball like
13.
13.
Robbie kicked it through.
Was it 13 and what was it? It was like a ridiculously low scoring game. Too.
And I just, like I said, I just think with this spiritual awakening he's had, I just think he's done with it. You know, he can do a podcast with Pat McAfee if he wants to stay in sports a little bit, and he just wants to live his life. Sure. With a guitar on the beach and talking about life and everything
Grow out
else.
that hair and then.
Think about it. He's a guy that has been a top flight quarterback his whole life. That kind of commitment. You don't get to have fun like kids
and the kind
do,
of attention,
True. Right? And the time and effort, and you gotta put yourself away from the world. And now he's experiencing things that I did when I was 17. Doing mushrooms and shit. I get it.
Opening the third eye.
Right. I get it. I mean, some of us were there in high school. I'm not gonna pretend like I wasn't. I was there. We were having fun, and I can remember what that was like as a kid, opening your mind to different things. And I that's what I hear when he talks is that 17-year-old kid that we were me and my friends are talking about things that are just almost nonsensical.
Remember that one time the wall decided to talk to me and tell me
he's just trying different things. And I don't blame him. He's lived his whole life.
What if we sat in the dark for a day?
Dude, that's
4
crazy.
days,
I couldn't do that.
No way.
I'd come out insane.
Same.
So, I don't know. I just think
a little trippy the last time I heard him in the last interview. No joke.
He did sound a little weirder.
Slower.
It has been. It's been going on for a year and a half, 2 years now. Ever since
we're talking about the podcast interview he did with Sports Illustrated.
Did you see that?
No.
So he just no joke.
Sounded even weirder.
Yeah, he seemed like he was a little bit more I don't want to say out of it because
it looked like he had seen something.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
When you get a chance, Greg, take a look at it.
Even just listen to 60 seconds of him talking.
He just seems just.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's no joke. I mean, you sit in a room, in a dark room for 6 days, it changes your mind. Prisoners that get locked in solitary, any of that.
They go crazy.
It changes you. I mean, for some people, maybe in a healthy way, and some people not. You try different drugs and things like that. It's changing your chemical imbalance in a certain way. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And so he's trying these things while trying to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, everyone's like, there's no way he's going to walk away from 60 mil. I get it, but he doesn't strike me as a guy that cares about money.
That work-life balance that he's trying to do right now is very difficult.
It's impossible. You're not going to win a Super Bowl like that.
No.
To your point, I know that football is not his main priority anymore because, and this is a slightly less well-known story, when he first tried ayahuasca, he was in Peru. This was right before COVID in 2020, in March. He almost got stuck in Peru because he was in a like remote village in Peru trying different forms of ayahuasca. And when he got told that he needed to come back because the world was going to shut down, he almost didn't. He almost just stayed in Peru. And so if you're trying to tell me, this is why, like, I will die on the hill that he's the greatest thrower of football I've ever seen in my life. But in terms of me dealing with this crap anymore, I am so done.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, he's a legend, but you got to move on at some point. Got to find out, and he's holding you hostage from finding out who Jordan Love is. And if he's not gonna commit to the craft like he has in his life, at some point it's sad, but you got to cut ties and do it before it's too late. Right. So I mean, it'll be interesting. I just think he's not a guy that cares about the money. I think he could quit now and do 30 Jeopardy shows a year that make up for some of the money. Do a podcast with Pat McAfee, and you're almost there. It's like he doesn't care about that stuff. I don't think money's what drives him anymore. I don't
he
even
can
know.
Also go date whatever supermodel he wants to that makes plenty of money.
So that's me calling my shot. Nobody wants to say it. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to the Raiders." Why does he want to go to the Raiders and lose and then retire?
Well, not only that, but why would you want to go to the AFC period when you have to go against like Justin Herbert, like Patrick Mahomes?
I think the only team that would reinvigorate him is to play for the San Francisco 49ers, who would be a great fit for him. But the Packers would never let him do that.
No.
And the 49ers have so much. We were just talking to Jordan Elliott, 49ers writer, before we talked to you. And he even said, he's like, there's just so much crap going on there already.
Brock Purdy with Trey Lance.
Purdy's hurt, and then Trey Lance is
coming off his injury.
I mean, they would do. They're that kind of aggressive team that would do it. It's to me the perfect fit.
They need it right now.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to like go 100% into his crap because that team is so damn good. All he's got to do is
here you go, Christian.
Right.
Here you go, Debo.
Yeah. So, but I don't see a scenario where he can find his way there. So to me, you add all that up. I'm calling my shot. You heard it here first. I've been saying it. Nobody wants to believe me. He's going to say he's retiring in a week or two.
So we got Greg Braggs with us, CHGO Bears. You like that? That was better than the intro.
I like it. I like it.
See, we're clicking now. Join us for a couple more minutes. So what I like to do is I like to ask guys that join us random ass questions. So nothing that's going to be, pushing position to be like, not being able to go home at night or anything like that. But I enjoy my beers.
Okay.
I have one in particular that I like when I want to overindulge. But that being said, what's the go-to beer of choice if you have it?
I don't drink beer. I drink whiskey.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm a Crown and Coke guy. Yeah, all day long. Or Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark.
Makers. I used to be a Jack Daniels guy, and then I grew up.
Yeah,
that's like the early 20s.
Yeah,
Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke.
Yeah, no.
And it took me a minute to grow up into something smoother and less spicier. And so Crown's probably my go-to. I got a buddy of mine that drinks like $100 whiskey.
Yeah,
Macallan's or whatever. And he's like, "You drink cheap whiskey." I'm like,
that's the same thing.
It's really not.
So those are my go-tos.
Hell yeah. So there's a place that we've gone to. So this is our second year being blessed with the ability to cover the combine. And we went there basically on accident, I guess, last year.
Yeah, we literally looked up bar.
Yeah.
And it was the closest place.
It's the oldest bar in Indiana, and I'm giving them some more pub because they're awesome. They pour a deep drink. Slippery Noodle. You be careful now. You can say something different. I've done it multiple times. Slippery Noodle. It's an easy walk from right down the street. Okay. So you guys got to check it out. It's actually a really good place to go to. Good. And like I said, they're deep drinks.
Okay. I did Screwdriver there earlier, and there was maybe that much orange juice.
Oh boy.
Schmitty pours it well.
We were burning the midnight oil last night through, so I'm sure I'll find my way there at some point.
What's up?
Perfect.
So, much appreciated. I don't know if MJ's got anything else for you.
No.
Green Bay sucks.
Yeah, Green Bay does suck.
Green Bay sucks.
I thought we were. I was gonna keep going with that.
Oh my gosh! But we're gonna get them involved if you got that loud.
But no, Greg, thank you so much for jumping on with us again. So, Greg, if you want to let everyone know what your Twitter handle is and where they can find you.
Yeah, follow me, my personal account at gbraggsjr23. Do a lot of coverage for CHGO Sports, CHGO Bears. Do some Big Ten basketball talk on Tuesdays with them.
Nice.
CHGO Sports covers everything in Chicago: the Cubs, the Bears, the Bulls, the Sky, the Fire, the Blackhawks. Literally everybody.
Love it.
It's a huge team, really talented guys. And then for me for some reason is part of the team, and we have a lot of fun with it, and we're the kind of the new kids on the block. I think we just hit our 1 year anniversary, or we're going to
on
awesome. Saturday. But,
yeah, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun and a big thrill for me to kind of get into the media world a little more. And I have personal stuff I do. It's called Brags in the Stands. I do Purdue basketball coverage.
Nice.
That's what I did before. I was with CHGO. It was my own personal stuff, and I'd talk literally anything Bears. But now it's kind of more Purdue basketball centric, just to try to split up my time with Bears with what I'm getting paid for, and then Purdue with the hobby and stuff like that. So, I've got my hands in a lot of different things. But follow CHGO Sports on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of really fun content. Had Ryan Poles on this week, and a lot of different people. So
nice.
we're doing our best, try to rip through this media game.
There we go.
Love it. Well, thank you again so much, MJ. Have some fun, and hey, let's get a drink sometime, my guy.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for saying hi. I appreciate the conversation.
Appreciate it,
yes, sir.
It. All right, guys. We'll leave you with make sure you get some homeowners insurance.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.